Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Carradine. Welcoming you to another second and 10 football for the 128-team NFL tournament called the Super Bowl Winners, Losers, and Friends Tourney. In it, we had the 59 Super Bowl winners and the 59 Super Bowl losers, or runners up, if you will, for 118 teams. And then we had to add 10 extra. So, using some leagues that are not NFL affiliated, we had two teams the 1948 Cleveland Browns from the AAFC and the 1999 Rhein Fire from NFL Europe join us. We also had a tournament for all the NFL champions in the 1930s and the 1940s, having a decade team there. So that makes four. And then two AFL teams, not Super Bowl teams, AFL icons, even from the early days in the 60s. And then four teams Jacksonville, Tennessee, Houston, and um, sorry, Jacksonville, Detroit, Cleveland, and Houston. Jacksonville, their team represented by the 99 squad that went 14-2, demolished Dan Marino in the divisional round, and then lost the AFC title game to Tennessee. Houston's team, the 2019 squad, was the team that beat Buffalo in that wild card game, and then had Kansas City on the ropes, but couldn't finish the job in the divisional round. Cleveland, they're the 1964 team, the last NFL team title for them, and Detroit, the last NFL title for them, 1957. So we will have for you 3 weeks of a coverage, 5 this week, 5 next week, and 6 the week after. There are actually no major matchups except for maybe 1 or 2, but yeah. So of the 5 matchups you see for December 21st, the Rams Broncos matchup is going to be would be 5th. There is a little bit of a problem because the Dallas teams of 71 and 77 are too close together, and Roger Staubach and plays for the same team. So they are going to say the Dallas New England will go last because you got Roger Staubach's hustle. So the rules are we go east to west. So if we go east to west, well, New England is last game because Staubach has to have kind of a rest period. So it will be Miami first. Yep, Miami will go first. And 48 Browns and 73 Dolphins go first.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen.
Here's the big one. You won't see the marks on the field because it's a trip scheme. Earl the Pearl Morrill is going to play pivot for Miami. Larry Sanka and Mercury Morris, 2/3 of the three-headed monster running for Miami. Arlen Briscoe, Paul Warfield, Mark Fleming's at receiver. The starters. Offensive line. No Larry Little, so that's big. Samuel at the wing. Norm Evans, Jim Langer, Bob Hugebert, and more. Cleveland. 48 Browns have Horace Gillum, Chubby Grigg, Bill Willis, and George Young on the D-line. Linebackers. Willie Klein, Tony Adamley, Lou Saban, with Tom Kalola, Cliff Lewis, Bill Boddicker, and Tommy James in the backfield. That's backfield. The 73 Dolphins, known for winning Super Bowl 8, giving up only 3 points to the pesky Minnesota Vikings. Basically, running all over Minnesota's perfect football years. First play is a 2-yard run by Mercury. 38.
First down. First down.
Flag on the play.
12 men on the field. Defense. First down.
Flag on the play.
Encroachment.
Encroachment.
Defense.
Touchdown, Dolphins.
Good.
Automatic hologram of tickets for these 48 rounds. Mary Motley, Edgar Jones, Bill Boddicker, running backs, Jim Brown, much later. Max Speedy, John Yanakor, receivers on the line. Lou Groza, Alvin Humble, Frank Gatsky, Ed Linsky, and Lou Reinkus. For Miami, Vern Denharder, Ben Fernandez, Bob Hines, and Miles Stanfield, and Lance and Esser. Nick Conti, Doug Swift, and Nick Poland. Your linebackers, Tim Foley, Jake Scott, Dick Anderson, and Kirby Johnson. And your DBs, the 48 Browns. They were the darling of the AFC. All 4 years of the All-American Football Conference happened. Cleveland won all of them. And then they would finish the NFL in 1950 and made to play Philadelphia, the NFL champions. The one game to show who was superior. Well, we didn't show them off.
First down. First down. First down. False start. Offense.
Browns took on the 82 Redskins, who was the team that won in the stretch of the season, 131-3, and they beat the 2018 LA Rams, the runner-up, in the Super Bowl 33-27. Miami took care of the 73 Vikings in a weird way. They got drawn against each other in the Super Bowl 8 rematch, and then they beat the 04 Eagles, the TO of that team. Red zone? Right in the red zone?
Touchdown, Dolphins.
Good.
Touchdown, Dolphins.
Yeah, New England would be next, but because of Roger Staubach having to rest, I think Dallas goes next, right? Yeah, Dallas will go second against the 90 Giants. Yeah, the second one Cowboys have to go next. And fumbled at the two, so the one play. One play. Third and goal to 3. Wow. Two for 3 points.
This is good.
Cowboys could have scored 7. This time. That Hostetler pivot for the Giants. I know they also have Bill Sims, but Sims went down mid-season, and Hostetler had to lead the Giants to the Super Bowl, which he did. Otis Anderson, Morrow, Carvin started running back, Stephen Bacon, Justin Turner, and Mark Guerrero are your Eric Moore, Bob Cratch, Mark Oates, William Roberts, and Doug Reisenberg are your offensive line. Dallas' team line, Eric Cole, Jeff Pugh, Bob Lilly, and George Andrew. Dave Edwards, Chuck Howley, Lee Roger, and your linebackers, Bill Battley. Cliff Harris, Cornell Green, and Mel Wright are your DBs. The 90 Giants, semi-fight down with the injury, Hostetler came in, and somehow in some way the Giants went to Super Bowl. They took out the two-time defending champion Niners. They took out Joe Montana for almost a year. Roger Craig made a massive fumble, and Matt Barr used his 5th field goal to beat the Niners. And then in the Super Bowl, they used ball control to take down the caveman offense of Buffalo, and they worked quite great.
First down.
Bob Hayes, Lance Albert, and Mike Ditka. Great receiver. Oh yeah, Albert. So whoop. Yeah, Dallas legend, now the San Diego legend, and I still say San Diego legend, and Bears legend. Ralph Neely playing 9, Dave Manders, John Nyland, and Ray Field right for your offensive line. Eric Dorsey, Eric Howard, and John Washington in the line. Carl Banks, DOC, Pepper Johnson, and Mark LT. The linebacker job DBs, Mark Collins, Myron Gunnan, Greg Jackson, and Emerson Lewis.
First down.
First down, take down. mention too about the Giants. Well, they beat the 03 Pats 13-10. That's the team that's at Alfred Terry kicked his second game in football for a Super Bowl, and then they beat the 2015 Broncos with Peyton Manning 23-20. Both on field goals. So anyway, Cowboys beat the 87 Skins, team with Doug Williams 34-10, and they beat the 99 Rams for Sean Turf 39-28. That's all. That was a legend.
Touchdown, Cowboys. The two-point conversion is good. Touchdown, Cowboys. That's good. First down. Flag on the play.
False start. Offense.
I think to the 15. The 15 is a lot better nowadays than it was in the 70s. We're in 15. I feel like, well, it's too short to punt. Time was set at about 60 yards, right? Yeah.
Touchdown, Giants.
Touchdown, Baker. He is down 500. Touchdown, Giants. What a
Good.
And the Giants have a looking to get to the Sweet 16. Good news. And all their timeouts. Today, I believe. Yeah.
Timeout, defense.
No, they're going to use some timeouts.
Timeout, defense. Timeout, defense.
Now, what do? We're going to go for it. For the Giants, again, they win by one possession. Austin, their 4 touchdown passes, including the game-winning 78-yard bomb to Stephen Baker. What a job. 10 for 14, 239. What a job. Hey, Austin. And he ran for 86 yards. He ran for more yards than Otis freaking Anderson. Wow. 99 yards. And he caught up that hippie. Touchdowns by Baker. Callback 18 for 31, 172 touchdowns and pick. Giants, ka-choo! All right. Our next game is in Detroit, Rock City. The 57 Lions, the only Lions team will win. Yeah, they're favored by 3 points. They're at the 34 at Briggs Stadium, known as Tiger Stadium. Russell Wilson from Wisconsin at pivot. Marshawn Lynch, break up the Skittles, bring the ball to start. Jermaine Kearse, Doug Baldwin, Brian Walters, and Canadian Luke Wilson at receiver partner. Russell O'Connor, J.R. Sweezy, Max Unger, James Carpenter, and Justin Britt are your offensive line. Lions. Dennis McCord, Bob Lennon, other side called Paul Blum, Joe Schmidt, the linebackers, and Jack Christian, Neil Larry, Terry Berg, and Jim Davis are your DBs. The 2014 Seahawks, that was, I believe, the team that came back from 18 down against the Packers in the NFC title game, and then nearly had the Patriots in the final minute. Jermaine Chris with that great catch, and then they decided to pass instead of run at the 1-3 line. John Henry Johnson, the Home Cassidy, the running backs, Jim Thorne, Steve Youngster, Luke Middleton, your receivers. Offensive line, Luke Moore, Dan Campbell, Frank Gatsby, Harley Seal, and Charlie Henry. Seattle Sea Line, Michael Bennett, Kevin Williams, Tony McDaniel, and Phil Bethel. KJ Wright, Bobby Wagner, Bruce River, your linebackers. Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Byron Maxwell, your DBs. Okay, so the 57 Lions, the last time they turned the line with the Nature Lions. They went to San Francisco for, I believe, the division tiebreak. They were down by 20 plus points, but they came back to beat the Niners. And then they hosted Cleveland. And we'll tell you in a minute.
Flag on the play.
Clipping. Receiving team.
Okay, well, anyway, Seattle, how did they get the count? Well, they beat their 05 counterparts 40-0, and they beat the 64 Browns 17-16. So, logically, Cleveland's only NFL team that makes it out to Georgia. The 57 Lions needed overtime to beat the 2000 Giants, and then they beat the 97 Broncos by a field goal. So they've had their possession games.
It's good. Touchdown, Lions. is good.
Final two. Back to the final two. The third.
Timeout defense. Timeout defense. Timeout defense.
Motion two. Congratulations. 90 yards for the win.
First down.
Flag on the play.
Personal foul. Offense.
Seattle wins a narrow one, 13-7. Well, gotta play these scores. Curse is the MVP. Who would you name? Some defensive player. Wayne, 17 for 23 with 71 and a K. Wilson, 19 for 27, 201, 2 interceptions. I don't know who the game is. Anyone who said especially Maxwell, maybe Richard Sherman, 8 tackles. Would have named him the MVP. All right, 2 more games. We have to go to Denver next. This was supposed to be the nightcap, but because we'll give him the rest. So the Rams start at the 17th. Kurt Warner, what a success story he is. Dude played college football in Northern Iowa, in the Arena Football League, and then in Europe he was even overnight grocery clerk at IB before getting his Marshall Falk also picked up the Rams in the 1999 season from the Colts. The Colts said they were running back from after that. 2 wide receivers to start. Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, and Ricky Kroll. Ernie Conwell, your receiver. No Ryan Tucker, he's hurt, so his spikes has to come in from Adam Timberman, Aiden McCollum, Tom Newton, and under the pace, the Broncos defensively. Latin Rusa, Keith Trailer, Trevor Price, and Neil Smith. Bill Romanowski, John Mobley, Blaine Cardenas, your linebackers. Barry Gordon, Eric Brown, Steve Iwater, Rick Crockett, and Louise. The 0-1 Rams, this was the team that was pretty good in their British home turf, but as strong as their Super Bowl winning team from 2 years prior. But of course, not great week.
Flag on the play.
False start.
Oh, they saw that.
Offense.
Light rain. John Elway at pivot, Terrell Davis, Tyler Griffin running the ball, Wadsmith, and McCaffrey, Shannon Sharp will clean the ball. Offensive line, Tony Jones, Dan Neal, Tom Nalen, Mark Schleif, and Barry Swain. Rams D line, Chidi Ahanatu, Jeff Segovia, Brian Young, Mark Wistrom, London Fletcher, Mark Fields, and Tommy Poole. Your linebackers, your DBs, Aaron Williams, Adam Marcelletta, Kim Herring, and Dexter McQueen. The 98 Broncos, favored by 5 points at this thing. That was the team that started 13-0 to start the season, even though that Elway would never bring the pressure came on. They ended up super and Elway blew off in the sunset. The 0-1 Rams beat their rivals to 20, their kind of rival, their Missouri rivals, Kansas City, the 22 squad that won in overtime in Super Bowl in real life, 28-25, and then they took down the 2012 Ravens with Ray Lewis's Swan Song 28-23, so they've been in a couple of one possession games. Denver against the 96 Broncos. sorry, the 96 Patriots, they took them down 12-10, and they beat the 2012 Niners 36-3.
First down.
42-39. What a game. 81 points combined. What a game. Marshall Falk ran for 130 and 2 touchdowns, caught for 106 yards and a touchdown. Racial and Turf, West Coast offense. Elway, 14 for 29, 192 touchdown, and a loss. And TD, 155 winning. Kurt Warner, 21 for 32, 313, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Hakeem ran through an optional toward Holt. And Marshall, 130 yards. Holt and Falk, 100 yards receiving. Kurt Warner, 313. To dress with the fumble return, and then the Rams turn off 17 3 points, including a 69-yard run. Nice by Falk. Warner, the Falk, and then 24-16 Rams. Candidate Terrell ran for 6 yards, 31-23. They went for 2 after getting a touchdown, then they missed Denver. 34-13 Rams, and then after trailer fumble return. So yeah, 2 fumble returns for touchdowns. Open scores the Rams, but they still win the game late, 42-39. What a game. Game of the year, I think. 42-39. What can you edit? Well, you can't edit. What are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing? I swear. A write-up. Should do a write-up or something. All right, final game. The 77 Cowboys against the 07 Patriots. The reason being that... Pads start at their 32-yard line. Tom Terrific at pivot. Lawrence Maroney will run the ball. Les Walker, Douglas Goldberg, Randy Moss will receive the ball. And Watson TD. Nick Cassura, the Canadian Golden Eagles. And Cobb and Stephen Neal at Matt Leitner is line. Alice's D-line. Ed Tutal Jones. Randy White. Jethro Pugh, Harvey Martin. Dean Lewis, Bob Brady, and Thomas the Cat Anderson. All of it is. Aaron Kyle, Charles, Waters, Cliff Harris, Randy Martin, and backfield. So that's back. So Dallas, the 17, went to Super Bowl 12, beat Denver, and then has been stopped by face Craig Gordon. They were against teammates. They had a good time with New Orleans. Of course, the 77 team. 71 team haven't played on the same day. The 71 team hit first.
First down.
Touchdown, Patriots. Ronnie Harrison, James Sanders, and Asante Samuel.
First down.
First down, Newhouse.
First down. Touchdown, Patriots.
Good to the Cleveland race.
The extra point is good.
The 77 Cowboys beat the 09 Colts Peyton Manning 2016 and then shut down the San Francisco Vikings. The 07 Pats beat the 93 Rams, the 82 Dolphins by a field goal. Red zone, 2nd and 10. 14-7. Inside.
Good.
Dallas. New England in the red zone. 2-10. Second quarter, 7-10.
Timeout, offense. Good.
20-10. England. Got a mistake. They were up 20-13. Dallas with the ball. 34-16.
Touchdown, Cowboys.
Up by 10. Brady 17 for 30, 271, a touchdown and a pick. 119 for round. Staubach 19 for 26, 249, 2 touchdowns and a pick. So yeah, it was 2013 England. Asante Samuel pick 6, 27-13. And then after Herrera kicked the field goal, Willie Andrews somehow snuck it in for a touchdown off the kickoff return. So the Patriots won 34-24. So anyway, 5 games done. The 90 Giants take down the 71 Cowboys late on a touchdown from Hostetler to Baker. The 0-1 Rams and the 98 Broncos, a big offensive showdown. 42-39 Rams survive a Broncos attempt late. Marshall Faulk could run and catch. The 2014 Seahawks win a defensive battle 13-7 against the 57 Lions. That's a close one. The 73 Dolphins easily beat the 48 Browns in the biggest blowout of the week. And the 07 Pats won by 10 points, but Dallas made it work for it. So Staubach is 0 for 2. I think he's 0 for 2 overall. Look at the 5 games, December 28th. And I think it's 10 different franchises. Yep, it's 10 different franchises. So December 28th, I don't know what we do. I think it's going to be Green Bay who will host the final game. Yep, I think it's going to be Green Bay who will host the final game. I'll be honest with you. 89-94. Well, yeah, 89 San Fran and 94 San Fran have to play early. So yeah, the San Fran Pittsburgh game has to be played early because the 94 team with Jerry Rice, I think that'll be the nightcap against the 85 Pats. It kind of has to be because of Jerry Rice. Yeah, yeah, because of Jerry Rice on January 4th. So that will happen 21st, 28th, January 4th. And you'd be asking yourself, when's the round of 16? When's everything else? Well, the round of 16 is scheduled for wild card weekend, which will be the weekend of the 10th and the 11th and the 12th. So, you'll have a couple games on Saturday, a couple games Sunday, and a few games, and in one game on Monday. So what we'll do is 3 of the round of 16 games will be January the 10th on the Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and 2 the 11th, and 2 on Monday the 12th. Now the key here is it will be extended, an extended game, if you will. So once we get around 16, you'll get more action. So what we'll do is we'll play the first quarter of the game, and then we'll go to the red zone stuff afterwards. We'll play the entire first quarter. Or no, sorry. No, sorry. Yeah, once we get to the fourth quarter, we'll play the fourth quarter throughout. Okay, and then of course the quarterfinals will be on the weekend of the 17th and 18th. 2 games each day. Extended highlights, of course. When the conference finals happen in real life, that's when we'll have football, and that'll be the 25th. And then Super Bowl Sunday is when we'll have the championship. And that will be released before the Super Bowl, I promise you. I know you'll be thinking, what about college football? What about the CFB? Well, they finished their round of 16 yesterday, and they will play the quarterfinals on New Year's Day, January the 1st. So all 4 games will be on New Year's Day. The semifinals will be Friday, January the 9th. That is when the second semifinal of the CFP happens. And the final will be Monday, January the 19th, when the real college football playoff happens. We'll get the final on that same day. So just wanted to let you know. And the matchups next week, the 86 Broncos with John Elway coming off the drive against Matty Ice in the 28-3 team from Atlanta. 70 Colts winning the Super Bowl for Baltimore finally against the 92 Bills, who got shellacked in the Super Bowl. The 48 Eagles, the team that won the 40s title, they take on the first ever Super Bowl champions, the 66 Packers. Ryan Fire, who are shocking everyone, they take on the 84 Niners with Joe Montana. And the 66 Chiefs, the first Super Bowl runner-up, take on the 99 Titans, who are 1 yard short. Should be interesting, really. Oh, and then the week after, the 68 Jets, Joe Namath and the Guarantee team against the 93 Cowboys that won their second straight Super Bowl. The 70 Cowboys, who lost Super Bowl 5, the Blunder Bowl, take on the 2013 Broncos, who got blown out in the Super Bowl. The 86 Giants, who used Phil Simms' completion percentage mastery to win the Super Bowl. They take on the 2014 Pats, who won the Super Bowl thanks to Seattle getting greedy. The 89 Niners, the team that put a 55 on the Broncos in the Super Bowl, take on the 05 Steelers, who may have won the Super Bowl through the ref stripes. The 85 Patriots, who got blown out in the Super Bowl 20, will face the 94 Niners when Steve Young finally got the monkey off his back. And the 33 Bears, the winner of the 30s team, will take on the 2002 defensive juggernauts known as Tampa Bay. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.